Well, when we thought that we were going to be all done with all of the kind of bad news around Cyberpunk and maybe thought we were going to be moving in a better direction, I guess that's not so much the case. Sony has removed Cyberpunk from its store. Let's talk about it right now. I'm still gonna say it's a great day on the internet, everybody. Welcome to Assemble. I'm Matt. How are you guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever time of day it is. It's getting into the weekends, the holiday season. Kids are gonna be off school soon, getting ready, getting in the holiday spirit. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized. We're gonna have some fun. But you know who's not having any fun? CD Projekt Red, because this is just getting silly now. So depending on when you are watching this episode, first of all, thank you so much for coming. Welcome. How are you doing? Maybe if you can, subscribe to the show, hit the notification bell, get updates on shows like this. Sony Interactive Entertainment has released a statement as of last night that they are removing, and they have removed, Cyberpunk 2077 from its PlayStation Store across the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, just across the entire store entirely. If you try to search for the game, it is not there, guys. This is coming off the heels with obviously a kind of a debacle and a disaster of a launch across all platforms for Cyberpunk. The game has had notable bugs, crashes, glitches. It has not performed well. If you have been on a PC and a higher end PC, you may have had a great experience to good experience, and that is fantastic. And even for our next gen console players from the Series X to PlayStation 5, they've had a somewhat okay experience to some game breaking bugs as well. So to say it's a mixed bag it's a little bit of an understatement at this point. It's a bit of a bad bag. We have a bad bag going on right now, guys. I wanted to do this episode because this is really, I'd say groundbreaking and kind of shocking that Sony themselves are removing a AAA title from its store, and they're offering the refunds for players if they want to be able to get a refund. Now, what we've seen in the last probably 48 hours is that a lot of people in the community online have been noticing how difficult it has been for them to get their refund. As we talked about in the previous episode regarding Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red put out their whole statement, their apology letter. You guys can check out that episode. But we talked about how they were going to offer up refunds for anybody that wanted it, but they were also hoping for people's trust to continue to play on with the game. And CD Projekt Red really was hoping that people would be able to stay on. They're going to patch the game. They're going to make it playable on last-gen consoles and try to make improvements across the board. Since then, Sony has now come out and said that they're just going to pull the game. They have pulled it, it's gone, and that they are offering refunds for all PlayStation owners if they choose to. And this is huge and monumental within the gaming industry, in my opinion, because I don't think that we have ever seen something like this. We have seen games like Anthem come out and completely flop and really turn players off and been almost impossible for them to recover. With CD Projekt Red, with Cyberpunk, with 7 years of development, and really having a huge problem with their launch, clearly rushed this game out for production to hit their Q4 numbers, to be able to hit these pre-order numbers, and for Sony to come back and PlayStation to say, we are pulling this AAA title from our store and giving gamers their refund is huge. It's a huge loss in revenue. You're right at the end of the year. So for Sony and CD Projekt Red to hit these numbers that they were not relying on necessarily, but had kind of banked on pre-orders and refunding possibly millions of dollars at this point. This is huge. And it's kind of interesting that Sony is actually taking a consumer-friendly approach with this, that they're actually looking out for the consumer and the gamer. I think that there has been enough uproar from consumers, from gamers about this title, about how broken it is and how disappointed they were, that it really forced Sony's hand. Where I get really interested with all of this, guys, and let me know in the comments below what you think, but I get really intrigued with what precedent this sets for Sony, for Microsoft, for game developers going forward, that we as the community, as gamers, as fans, we are not allowing these things to happen. And the big bad Sonys of the world and the giant Microsofts of the world are having to be forced into a position where, I mean, they have to take our side on this because the game is broken. You can't play it on consoles. And for any other product that you buy, just looking at it as a consumer product, you should be allowed to take it back. If the toaster doesn't work and it doesn't toast the toast, I take it back to the store. But I understand it's a different world when it comes to games, and digital games specifically. It makes it a little bit more dicey, and Sony puts up a lot of barriers and rules and regulations around, how much playtime you can have in order to qualify to return a title. It's not the easiest thing. They don't make it easy. So for them to come out of the gate and offer a full refund for its player base, it's absolutely massive. Sony's press release on this reads like this: SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store and want a refund. And they can visit the link in order to initiate the refund. So for them to come out and again, post the link, put it on Twitter, put it out there for all fans that have gone digital with the game and get that refund is a monumental shift that I don't think it's going to allow developers in the future to be able to rush titles out as much. I think that this is a good move by Sony. It's definitely a good PR move to see how disappointed and frustrated a large percentage of a Sony-specific audience, PlayStation audience, how angry and upset they are with this title. CD Projekt Red coming out with an apology letter of sorts. I think it's a consumer-friendly move, and it's a good positive move for them. And I think it gets Sony out of the gate in front of this, really, to be able to not have their brand, not to have Sony and PlayStation associated with this, and to be able to turn around and say, hey, look what we did. We went on the gamer side of this and we took their side, because they have to recognize that this is a debacle. And frankly, it's going to create a larger mess for Sony internally for their systems. And if they have to issue refunds, here and there as people are requesting them, they must be seeing such a high volume of requests coming into their system for people wanting to refund this game that it's got to be at a point right now where it's simply a lot easier to just, here's a link, here's our apology, refund the game, be done with it. This makes it very interesting to see where are we going to end up in the spring, where a lot of people have said online for a lot of the podcasts we watch and people that we follow in the community. I think there's a general consensus that, hey, this game is not fully baked. It's not done yet. Put it back in the oven, and it needs a couple of more months. I don't think that this title was ready until maybe April. I think they still needed another year almost to get this where it needed to be for console specific. I think for the PC, because we have only seen PC reviews, PC builds, PC coverage for this, I think that they're in a very good place with some issues. If you're on a high-end PC, you're probably having a pretty optimized experience. But when it comes to the consoles, definitely on last-gen consoles, guys, it was not ready to go. I really want to see what CD Projekt Red is going to do about this. They've laid out that they are going to be doing patches, but for Sony to pull the game out completely, and let's see what Microsoft does, because at the point of this recording, the time of this recording, Microsoft has not come out with a similar statement to say they have pulled the game. They are offering refunds, but it's been difficult for gamers to actually get that refund on their end. I think that this game needed a lot more time, like I said. I wonder if they can recover. I hope they can recover. I'm usually Mr. Optimistic. I like to be positive here on the show for you guys. I think that they can recover from this. They're big enough to do it, but now they have to, like they said in their apology letter, they want people to trust them. Now they have to regain all of that trust all over again. Let me know what you guys think, but I think that CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk need to take a step back, and they're going to need to reassess all of this, delay this relaunch, if it is going to be a relaunch on Sony and presumably Xbox, take a step back, reassess and redo this thing, and maybe release it in the spring or even into next fall. But you are going to have to do something major if you want to be able to win back Sony, Microsoft, gamers at large for really messing this up, misleading, and not really giving them a good indication of what this title is supposed to be on consoles, be it on PS4 or PS5. It's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing plays out when it comes into next year. It's kind of a wash at this point for CD Projekt Red going into December, and now they're really going to have to change something up. I don't think that going into the spring or into the fall, and let's just say hypothetically that they held off and they re-released this thing on consoles for maybe next fall in September, October, when they feel the game is polished and maybe it is optimized and maybe it is amazing and it's all like there's no glitches and everything is really well done. It's going to be really hard for them to turn around at that point when they have asked for all of our trust in that original apology letter and to now say, hey, we're back, we fixed everything, we feel good about it. Can we get full retail price of $60, $80, $90, and so on? That's going to be a really, really hard thing to do. I'm curious what you guys think, if CD Projekt Red would even go down that path of asking for full price again. Or are they gonna just say, if you have the game, it's this, and they just look at consoles as a wash? Maybe they change it up entirely, and maybe they just say this is a PC title, and maybe in a year or two from now, we'll be ready to release it on next-gen consoles. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up Assemble today. I'm Matt. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this entire piece with Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red? Do you think that they are going to be able to recover from this? Where do you think things are going to end up down the road? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you for assembling with us. See ya!